I did not feel like making a video today. I am doing one anyways, but I've only won half the battle because I'm not on camera. You know, I should have gotten camera ready, if you will, but I didn't. Because, you know, when I'm just at home, I look pretty homeless or I look unhoused. Whatever phrase we're using, it just would have been too much. And a lot of you might think, hey, when you are on camera, you're not looking that great anyway, so what's the difference? Well, that's not very nice of you to think that. You know, I set up a schedule for myself. I told myself I would put out a video every Tuesday and Thursday. You know, even though my videos get like 12 views right now, I am kind of in the beginning. I did kind of start YouTube a few years ago, but you know, I would start, get discouraged and stop. Start, get discouraged and stop. Well, I really don't want to do that this time. I have been wanting to show some of the newest finds that me and my family have found at some thrift stores recently, some vintage kitchen stuff. So enough about all of that. Let's get into it. What you've been looking at here is a vintage cast iron kettle from the late 1800s. Real quick, we also found Patrick at a thrift store and I had to have him. Yes, I am a 47-year-old child. We were super excited to find this kettle. I have never seen one before, which means you will probably never see this up on our eBay store because it's ours and we're obsessed with cast iron. When we have our little country home somewhere one day, we plan on also decorating with cast iron. That is a cornbread cast iron pan. Now, in a second, you're going to see another cornbread cast iron pan. We're not sure if we want to give up either one of those either, because again, we're obsessed with cast iron. Now, I think I've shown this before in another video, but I just think it's so neat, this Raggedy Ann cookie mold. I never saw a cookie mold like this until I found this one at a thrift store. We recently acquired a bunch of vintage spatulas and cooking utensils and serving spoons. There's a bunch of Echo brand. There's some tailor-made. There's some that aren't printed with the brand, but are in really good condition. That's some of the Echo there. There's an Echo spatula. This is one of the unmarked ones, but it's definitely older. But we were drawn to it and we had to have it. These are some more vintage unmarked ones, but they're in excellent condition, so we got them. And these are just adorable. Pillsbury Doughboy serving spoons, had to have. This is a vintage ceramic pie server made in Japan, and I just thought it was kind of neat. Does any other Gen Xer remember their moms using these bowls? Because I distinctly remember my mom having some bowls like this, but they had a different picture on them. I want to say they had maybe cherries on them. I don't know. I could be remembering the picture completely wrong, but I know she had some mixing bowls like this. I feel like this old strainer, which I think is from the 1940s, I feel like this is just going to end up as decor somehow in our future country home. We recently picked up some of these, a set of these thingies too. What are they? They're butter knives, right? Yeah, but butter knives? I think they're butter knives. Or just spreading knives? I don't know. But my husband saw them at a garage sale and he wanted them. So these will probably end up on our eBay store, I think. Yep, we have more Starbucks mugs. The Kentucky one, I think, is from, what's the series called? The Where Have You Been series or something like that? And my husband came home with all that the other day. I have to keep remembering to mute the video that I took because I have Post Malone playing in the background. So we all thought this was a vintage ashtray. We were all wrong. This was something that served usually caviar. Vintage coffee pot? It wouldn't have been a teapot right now. This would have been a coffee pot, right? I don't know. Am I wrong? I don't know. The crazy thing is I've looked this up, but my perimenopause brain will not allow me to retain a lot of information. Part of a cream and sugar set. We have, I think the one for cream is still in the box. Little gravy bowl, of course. And not quite sure what this is. It hasn't been long since we've been in possession of this stuff, so there is still definitely some more research to be done. Apparently there's a whole series of these Disney mugs that used to be sold at the Disney parks. This one is the D for Dapper Dan's mug that my husband found about a day ago. This little vintage bad boy, you know, this is what your aunt would bring to Easter that had the little Jell-O mold with the marshmallows in it. Well, I think I'm going to call it on today's video. At the very least, I am glad I stuck to my schedule, and I hope someone out there enjoyed this in some way. I do hope you join me for the next one.